So you've seen Messi, you've seen Ronaldo, but have you seen the best player possible in Football Manager? What if a player had 20 in absolutely everything? And what if they were from Gibraltar? What could they do with the national team, starting in Gibraltar at a small little club? That is the aim of today's video. We have the perfect player in Football Manager. He has 20 in everything. He's aged 14. He's based in Gibraltar. Can he get them to a World Cup? Shall we find out? Let's do this. So here we are on the profile of Jamie the Space, my long lost son of FM14. He has 20 and everything. Yeah, it does look a little bit weird, doesn't it? He starts aged 14, although his 15th birthday is just around the corner, and his career is going to start at a little club called Manchester 62 in Gibraltar. Yes, we have given him to the Gibraltar National League, and he is also Gibraltarian nationality. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do as the star international player of one of the worst nations in FIFA's world rankings. 198th to start things. Keep an eye on that. Now, he is on a youth deal. He will not move until he's 17 or 18, so he's got a few years in Gibraltar to find his groove. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up playing. Because he can play anywhere, I imagine game to game he's going to get all kinds of matches. As he moves through his career, as he moves between clubs, it's going to be interesting to see how potentially they alter how they use him. But yeah, he's pretty blooming good. His current ability is above 200. A player cannot have above 200 current ability normally unless you set all the attributes like this to 20, and then in the in-game editor you freeze them all. So normally he would naturally get worse because you can't physically be this good, but with this circumstances he's going to stay this good forever, which does also scare me because I have no idea when he's going to retire. He's not going to decline. He's the perfect player. Anyway, I think to start things off, we'll go forward 3 years to his 18th birthday. We'll see how he gets on in his opening senior years. I'm expecting him to come back with some international caps to his name, maybe Manchester 62 ruling the roost in Gibraltar. And, well, let's go and see how Jamie the Space is looking, aged 18, shall we? So it turns out I don't know my own son's birthday. He's 17, he's 18 next week. We've come back early, everyone. He is about to move to Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, I wonder, can we see when that deal was arranged? Because I imagine that they've had their eyes on him for a while. He has played for the last 3 years in Gibraltar. There's lots of green everywhere. He's got 14 caps for the Gibraltar national team, 12 goals. First, we'll take a look at his club career stuff, and then we'll look at the national team action. So looking at things here, first year he got 5 goals, 6 assists, 17 player of the matches in 21 games. That's not too bad, is it? Then the season before this one, he got 11 goals, 5 assists, and 16 player of the matches. And then this year, he's got 27 goals in 21 games. Have they started playing him as a striker? They have. They played him as a striker for 18 games, right wing back for 4 games, centre back, left wing back, centre mid. And, well, he hasn't declined, funnily enough. He's still absolutely nuts. I suppose the question is, what has Manchester 62 achieved? Have they actually won the league? It doesn't look like they have. In fact, they haven't. They've won the Pepe Reyes Cup and they've won the Rock Cup, which is kind of the domestic cup competition in Gibraltar. In fact, they've won it on 2 occasions, and Jamie the Space was appointed captain 2 years ago. So when he was 15, they made him captain. I guess they looked at the 20 leadership and 20 teamwork and thought, yeah, he can do a job for us. I've never seen so much green here. I'm going to assume that Manchester 62 haven't made it far in European competition, although it would be nice if they did make it really far. If we look at things here, they weren't even in European competition this year, so they must have had a really disappointing league campaign. They got knocked out 7-0 in that season, and then, yeah, they played once in Europe, they lost 7-0, they've not been back. That's not great, is it? If we just look at the national kind of league group 1 here, you can see most recent season, they finished 3rd, and past winners, they've not won it. I'm really surprised he couldn't carry them more. He's comfortably the best player in the league. He's put the entire team on his back, and they've not really performed. I'm very interested, actually. Manchester 62, where was your media prediction? 11th. Okay, well, he really is just carrying them. The rest of the team must be awful, and he is just the absolute star man. which I guess has worked for them to an extent because they've ended up coming third. Anyway, I'm curious to look at the Gibraltar national team side of things here. So they have climbed in the world rankings to 173rd. Jamie the Space, he is their key player. I'd be very amazed if he wasn't their key player. And if we just look at the national team, he's going to be comfortably the best, isn't he? He's just going to be comfortably the best. He's playing right wing back, it would appear, which feels like a waste. If we just look at their games for the past 3 seasons, they've been involved in the Euro Championships, the qualifiers. They've drawn against Moldova and Montenegro, but that's kind of it there. In their group, the Nations League, they finished second in Group C, which is not even the lowest division, so fair play to them there. I'm interested. How many of these games did Jamie score in? He got 4 against Bulgaria. He got 1 against Armenia when they lost 3-2. He just scores a lot of goals. He got 2 against Armenia in a 3-2 win. He is carrying the national team. Can we see what position he played against Bulgaria here? We can't. That's a bit of a shame. It's because it's a few years ago now. I imagine he's playing as a striker, although recently he's been playing as a right wing back. It's going to be interesting once he starts joining a big team like Dortmund, where they play him. I have a sneaking suspicion because wing backs aren't as good as other positions just generally in Football Manager, especially further into the future of a save game. He might just become this godlike complete wing back. I guess the most complete of all complete wing backs. I'm curious, did he play for them really early on? No, he didn't. So he didn't get called up right away. At least it appears so. He didn't get on the score sheet. And in fact, Gibraltar naturally managed to get out of their Nations League group. But, well, since he's entered the national team, he's got a lot of blooming goals, hasn't he, Jamie? He's been pretty good. If we look at the under-21 schedules, how did Jamie do in the opening years here? They've done quite well there, haven't they, really? I guess he can have more of an impact on this team where the opposition quality isn't as good. I'm guessing they didn't qualify for the Euro under-21, sadly. Not enough wins here. But, yeah, he basically bullied all the under-21s, and they've only called him up kind of in the last 2 years, it would appear. That's kind of where they started to struggle again when Jamie was no longer around. But first 3 years, he's done quite well. It'll be interesting now to see what happens with him and the Gibraltar national team, because he's not going to get any better, of course. It's a case of, can they build a better team around him? Can they get the most out of him? The media can't. They think he's a decisive centre-back. I'll let you make of that what you will. Let's go forward another 3 years. He will be about to turn 21. He will be entering his 20s in the kind of years where normally a player would be expected to do big things, but I imagine he's going to be doing a hell of a lot for Dortmund. So yeah, let's go to 2036. Jamie, you're going to be 20. You're growing up fast. What are you up to, friend? I didn't think I could be so disappointed in a fellow The Space, but Jamie is joining PSG. I can't ignore it. It's just the first thing that I noticed when I loaded up his player profile. Jamie, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? How have you got on it? I mean, his goal-scoring record isn't very good for Gibraltar. That concerns me. How have you got on in the Bundesliga? Okay, I didn't expect him to be this good. Is that stupid to say? Like, genuinely, to get 28 player of the matches, then 29, then 26... is just a bit silly. His numbers have been fairly consistent, which makes me think they've always played him in the same kind of role or position. Where have they been playing him? Okay, so they've played him 14 games at centre-back, 14 games at centre-mid, 12 games at left-back, 6 games at right-back. They just kind of play him wherever they think they need him, I guess. I guess that's the beauty of having the ultimate utility man. I mean, he has just been carrying the Borussia Dortmund team. Is he considered their key player? He is. He's also their captain, which again, I guess just comes down to how good he is. Now, they won the Bundesliga last year. Have they won it again this year? It looks like they have. Did they win it convincingly? Not as convincingly as you might expect. They won it 6 points ahead. We just look at Dortmund's landmarks here. What have they achieved since Jamie joined? So he joined and was immediately appointed vice-captain. Then a year later was appointed as captain. Sorry, Hummels. They've won the Bundesliga twice. They've won the DFB Pokal. In fact, no, they only came runner-up in the DFB Pokal. So they've done really well in the league, but in the cups they've not done so well, although somewhat unsurprisingly. Jamie is just bossing it, everyone. I'm kind of surprised they didn't extend his contract more, but I wonder if he just wanted an obscene amount of money that only PSG could actually afford. This was kind of my theory and my fear, I suppose, when I set this all up, is if you have a really, really good player, there's only going to be like 2 or 3 teams that can realistically afford a player this good. It's worth noting the media are now realising he might be a wonder kid, everyone. I feel like every week they probably change their description because he just ticks the box for every single definition. If we just look here at his biography, you can see some of the stuff. He's a Dortmund legend. And he is also one of football superstars. He's been at Dortmund 3 years. Have they really made him a legend after 3 years? They have. He's ahead of Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen must be livid. You can see here, he's notched up 140 appearances for Dortmund, but he's now joining PSG. He's done pretty well over the years. 28 league goals for the club. Doesn't seem that high, but I think that is just because they're playing him, behind Haaland, behind the more attacking players. He's been recognised for his talents and achievements. He's won the Under-21 Footballer of the Year on 3 occasions. Every year it was at Dortmund. Didn't get any recognition before that. European Golden Boy on 3 occasions. I think I can see where this is going. He's won the Next Gen twice. He didn't win it the most recent year. Did they decide he was too old? I'm going to assume they did because he's not even in the runners-up there. He's won the European International League Best Player twice. I guess that's the Nations League, and he's won it with Gibraltar. I didn't even realise that was an award. Fair play. As you can see here, European International League Best Young Player twice, German Footballer of the Year twice, German Player of the Year on 3 occasions, German Newcomer, Best Player in Europe on 3 occasions, Goal 50 twice, World Footballer of the Year, 3rd place on 2 occasions. So this is the World Player of the Year. What about the Ballon d'Or? He's won the Ballon d'Or, everyone, as a centre-back. At least that's the position they recognise him as playing. I'm sorry, Mbappe. I'm sorry, Haaland. Jamie's in town. He's tearing it up with Dortmund. I'm a little bit scared for what's going to happen when he and Mbappe are on the same team. I fear for the rest of France, to be honest. It's not going to be fun for them. You can see here, he's won 2 Bundesliga medals. That's all he's actually won in terms of silverware. I guess you can't really be expected to win a great deal with the Gibraltar national team. If we just take a look at them here, they've climbed up to 157th. He is considered their key player, but they've not made him captain or vice-captain. Was he ever captain or vice-captain? He wasn't. That feels a little controversial. If we just have a look at their schedule here, have they been able to qualify for a major competition? I'm going to be honest, these World Cup qualifiers don't look particularly great. He's not even getting on the score sheet in many of them. I think they're playing him at centre-back. Someone let them know. They got a draw against Armenia in the Nations League. Did they actually stay up in their Nations League? Did they manage to... I'm curious now. Did you survive? Are you still... yeah, they are. They finished 2nd again. I wonder if they can make it to the Division B of the Nations League. That would be a pretty decent achievement for Gibraltar. Obviously, they've kind of sat in Division C ever since Jamie came onto the international scene. So far, kind of as expected, really. He's doing pretty blooming well, isn't he? I think this time we'll go forward 5 years. 25 years, kind of the middle of his career. Theoretically, I realised that because he can't decline, he might end up playing for way longer, so the part 2 might be a bit longer than this one. But yes, for the final time today, let's go look at him in 2025. Is he carrying PSG to everything? How are he and Mbappe getting on? I'm scared to have a look. This is going to be a bloodbath in France, I fear. I can see why he's moved to PSG. The money's nuts. £325,000 a week. He is wanted. Who's he wanted by? Who is it? Manchester United and Barcelona. Apparently his bravery's dropped to 19. Has he just been... I've frozen his attributes. He shouldn't be declining. Has he got injured recently? Why has his bravery dropped by 1? Answers on a postcard. That shouldn't happen. The fact that nothing else has dropped means that it is freezing correctly. It's one of the biggest mysteries I've ever encountered in Football Manager. His goal-scoring record is awful, by the way. He has scored 8 goals for Gibraltar in the last 5 years, and he is obviously still at PSG. He's got another contract for another 3 years, and in his 5 years at PSG, he's actually not done as well as in the previous years. I guess they're not making him the one-man star of the show, really. I say that. He's just got 10 goals and 20 assists in what is debatably his best ever season statistically, and he did also get 32 player of the matches last season in 38 games. Oh my word. Do I want to look at the Liga table? Do I want to have a look at it? I feel like it's just going to be awful to look at. PSG lost 2 games. Jamie had the best average rating and the most assists, and he's just setting up Mbappe. It's just not fair. I mean, just to compare Mbappe with Jamie, just for a little bit of a kind of, here's how good the best player in the world is against, you know, the player who is just the best that you can physically be in the game. It makes Mbappe look like a child, doesn't it? How ridiculously overpowered he is. The fact that he's playing for PSG just is not fair. If we look at his milestones here, how much has he won? Has he actually won a Champions League yet? So he won the Trophée des Champions, then they've won Liga every single year. Well done. Round of applause for PSG. Manager must be really proud of himself. They've not succeeded in Europe from the looks of things. If we just have a look at the Champions League... If we just take a look here, they've not won it. In fact, none of the teams that Jamie has played for have won it. Dortmund lost in the final without Jamie. He could have been the difference maker. He perhaps should have been the difference maker. If we look at PSG's league history, they've won it every single year since before Jamie came and since he joined the club, which isn't a shock, is it really? If we just look at things here, they got knocked out on penalties by Bayern Munich last season. And the season before that, where they had Jamie had his best season, where did they get to? They got to the quarter-final and got spanked by Barcelona, which is kind of a bit surprising. Jamie, where have you been playing for them, mate? 20 games at centre-mid, 12 at centre-back, right-back, left-back, 4 at striker. When he's played at striker, he's been very, very good. Also played on the left wing for 3 matches and scored 6. It's kind of nuts. I wonder if maybe in a follow-up video, like a separate experiment, we should make the perfect striker, the perfect centre-mid and the perfect defender and only have them play one position to see who can like carry a team the most. Either way, he's done absolutely insane early on here. If we just look at his awards, these are going to be a bit too long to read, I fear. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. He's broken all kinds of records for PSG. Oh my word. He got 47 player of the matches in one season. In all I mean, it just shouldn't be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed. Is he? I don't think he's PSG captain or anything yet. Oh no, he is. He is. Of course he's captain, Jack. Why would he not be captain? I guess the last thing to check really is what's happening with Gibraltar, because they've got this world's best footballer, and to be fair, their world rankings have continued to climb. It's now at 120th, which is, I think, as good as it's been. Their vice-captain is Jack Coulson. I'm just curious to see how good he is. Not quite on the same level as Jamie, but a very good player for Gibraltar under any normal circumstances. If we just look at their schedule, the last 5 years, I mean, they've won a couple of games in the European Championship, including against Belgium. Can we view the game? I think we can. I think we can because it's a recent game. Jamie played right back. Of course he did. And Belgium got absolutely FM'd. But Jamie, take a bow, mate. You've carried the team there. I wish I could, drop a hint to the Gibraltar manager, like maybe play him at striker, might help you out. You can see here in their European League, they are still in the C League. They are still in that third tier of the national kind of league format. Kind of keep just finishing second or third from the looks of it and not really moving on. In a World Cup qualifying campaign, they beat Iceland. They drew against Belgium as well. Who is Callum Butler? He seems to be doing well for them too. I'll tell you what, he's pretty good for Gibraltar as well. They've actually got some pretty decent players, all things considering. But unfortunately, it's not quite been enough. You can see here, where did they finish this specific season? Can we take a look at it? What season was that? I don't know if I can go further back, actually. They had a really, really good season in the Nations League. They must have come second again there. And then not got promoted, sadly. So, yeah, good year, but not quite good enough. And then the rest of that European Championship qualifying we looked at previously, they won games, they are winning games, but they're just not winning enough to qualify for any major competition. I feel like Jamie needs to start playing up front. Maybe if he had 20 bravery, that would make all the difference. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this kind of part 1 of the Perfect Player in Football Manager. Next time out, we're going to look at the rest of Jamie's career. I'm praying that Gibraltar are going to play him up front. I'm hoping he's going to move away from PSG at some point. Whether or not he will or won't, you will have to wait to find out. If you want to drop a prediction down in the comments of when you think he will retire, how old will he be? feel free to do that. He won't decline, so it's kind of a case of when he gets bored, he'll quit. And if you haven't left a prediction, you're boring. Go do it now. I'll see you guys next time. It is me, Jack. Thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.